The colony was small, sitting quietly on the edge of alien space. It was a place where people worked hard during the day and rested early at night. Among these people lived a young man named Liam. He was curious by nature, always wandering around the edges of the settlement, searching for forgotten paths and hidden corners. Unlike others who enjoyed gathering in groups, Liam often liked to walk alone. For him, the unknown always carried a sense of wonder. One evening, while the sun sank behind the rocky hills, Liam noticed something unusual. At the far side of the colony, half covered in vines and dust, stood a tall building that no one seemed to visit. Its walls were cracked, its doors nearly buried under soil, and most people had forgotten it even existed. Some said it was too old, built long before the humans settled there. Others believed it carried nothing but dust and shadows. But to Liam, the mystery was too strong to resist. He pushed through the vines and stepped inside. The air was heavy and smelled of age, yet something about it felt alive, as if the building itself was waiting for someone to enter. His footsteps echoed softly as he walked deeper. Broken glass and faded stone lined the ground, but ahead, he noticed rows upon rows of tall shelves. His heart quickened. It was not just a building, it was a library. The shelves stretched higher than he could reach, filled with strange objects and books. The books were not made of paper but of glowing materials, their covers faintly pulsing with light. Some looked like crystal tablets, others like folded metal sheets. Liam touched one gently, and it flickered as if waking from a long sleep. Dust lifted into the air, sparkling in the dim light. For a moment, he thought it was only his imagination, but then the room changed. Small lights appeared along the walls, glowing softly. The ground shook slightly, and a low hum filled the space. Liam stepped back, startled, but before he could run, a voice echoed through the room. "Who enters the library?" Liam froze. The voice was clear, smooth, and unlike anything he had ever heard. It was not mechanical, yet it did not sound fully human either. Looking around, he found no one. The shelves were still, the doors remained closed. Gathering courage, Liam answered, I'm just exploring. My name is Liam. I didn't mean to disturb anything." For a moment there was silence, and then the voice returned, softer this time. "Exploring? Few come here. This place has been forgotten." The voice seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. Liam's fear slowly faded, replaced by curiosity. "What is this place?" he asked. "This is the library of Elora," the voice replied. "I am Elora, its guardian. For centuries I have kept knowledge safe within these walls. You are the first human to step here." Liam's eyes widened. He had heard stories about alien ruins, about ancient archives lost in time, but he never thought he would find one himself. "A library," he whispered. "So all of these books are filled with knowledge?" "Yes," Elora answered. Her voice held both pride and sadness. "Knowledge of my people, of the stars, of ages long past. Yet it has been left to silence. None come anymore. None ask. Until you." Liam moved closer to one of the glowing shelves. "Why is it forgotten? Surely this is valuable." "Because empires rise and fall," Elora said quietly. "And memories fade. My people are gone. Only I remain." The words carried a weight that touched Liam deeply. He could almost feel the loneliness within her voice, like a soft echo trapped in endless halls. Though she was not visible, he felt as though someone was truly there, watching him, speaking directly to him. He smiled faintly. Well, maybe it's not forgotten anymore. I found it. There was a pause, and then the lights around him glowed brighter, as if the library itself was reacting to his words. Elara's voice softened, almost curious. Perhaps. But why did you come? Most humans pass by ruins without care. Liam thought for a moment. Because I like to know what's hidden. The things others ignore. I feel like they still have stories to tell. I didn't want this place to stay in the dark. For the first time, Elara did not answer immediately. When she finally spoke, her tone carried a faint warmth. Then maybe you are different from the others. Liam stood in the center of the vast library, surrounded by endless shelves glowing with alien light. His heart raced, not only from discovery but from the strange feeling that he was no longer alone. Something had awakened here, something that had been waiting for centuries. He whispered into the still air, "I'll come back." And as he left the library that night, the lights dimmed but did not fully fade, as if the ancient place itself now held a quiet hope. The next morning, Liam could not stop thinking about the library. His mind was restless as he worked in the colony fields, lifting tools and carrying supplies. Every sound, every face around him felt far away. He remembered the glowing shelves, the quiet hum of the walls, and above all, the voice that had spoken to him. The voice of Elara. No one else in the colony knew what he had found. He wanted to tell someone, but he stopped himself. If the officials discovered the library, they would take it apart, carry away its treasures, and silence the voice within. Something in his heart told him that Elara trusted him, and he did not want to break that trust. So he kept the secret close. When the sun dipped low and the sky turned soft blue, Liam walked again toward the forgotten building. His footsteps were quicker this time, his heart full of eagerness instead of fear. As he pushed open the heavy door, the familiar air of age and mystery wrapped around him. Dust swirled, but the shelves glowed faintly as though waiting for him. "I said I would return," Liam said softly, his voice carrying through the stillness. There was a moment of silence, then the calm voice of Elara filled the hall. "And you have kept your word. Few beings honor promises so quickly." Liam smiled, though he could not see her. "I don't break promises," he answered. The lights along the walls brightened, and he felt her presence stronger than before. "What do you wish to know, Liam?" Elara asked. He paused, overwhelmed by the thought that he could ask anything. "I want to know about these books. They don't look like human books. What are they made of?" "Memory crystals," Elara explained. "They store not only words but also images, voices, even emotions. My people believed that knowledge should be more than symbols. It should be experienced." Liam touched one carefully, and for a moment he felt warmth spread through his fingers. A faint picture flashed in his mind, a tall alien city with towers that reached the skies. He gasped and pulled his hand back. "I saw something." "Was that real?" "Yes," Elara replied. "You touched the memory of a city long gone. That was once our home. You humans read with eyes. My people read with hearts." Liam stood quietly, amazed. "It's beautiful. But why me? Why does it react when I touch it?" Her voice hesitated, thoughtful. "I do not know. When others from passing species once entered, the crystals stayed silent. Yet you awaken them. Perhaps humans carry something that speaks to the old systems." The idea filled Liam with pride and wonder. He was not special in his colony, he was just another worker. But here, in this forgotten place, the library itself seemed to respond only to him. As he walked slowly among the shelves, he kept asking questions. What happened to your people? Where did they go? Elora's voice grew softer. They are gone, Liam. Wars, pride, and the hunger for power destroyed them. This library was meant to protect their wisdom, but in the end, I became the only keeper. For centuries I have remained here, waiting, watching, hoping someone would come. Until you. Liam felt a weight in her words, a sadness deeper than any he had known. That sounds lonely, he whispered. It is, she admitted. Loneliness has been my only companion. Yet now, your presence changes the silence. You speak to me as if I am more than a voice. You are, Liam said quickly. You're not just a voice. You're alive. For the first time, the silence stretched not with emptiness, but with warmth. Elora did not answer right away. When she did, her voice carried something new: curiosity, maybe even hope. Perhaps you see what others never did. Liam sat on the cold floor, gazing at the shelves that glowed like stars. He told her about his life in the colony, how he often felt out of place, how others thought him too quiet, too curious. He admitted that he always wanted to find something greater, something worth discovering. And in return, Elora told him stories from the memory crystals. She spoke of great voyages across the stars, of alien songs that carried across whole planets, of gardens where trees glowed like fireflies in the night. Her voice painted pictures so vivid that Liam could almost see them around him. Time passed unnoticed. Hours slipped away, but neither of them cared. The boy and the guardian of the library were no longer strangers, they were companions, linked by curiosity and wonder. When Liam finally rose to leave, he said softly, "I'll come again tomorrow. I want to hear more." "Then I will wait," Elora replied, her tone almost gentle. "Perhaps tomorrow, I will tell you of the stars my people once touched." As Liam stepped back into the night air, he looked at the sky filled with endless lights. For the first time, the stars did not feel distant. They felt closer, as if they were calling him forward. And deep inside, he knew that his bond with Elora was only beginning. Days passed, and Liam's steps toward the forgotten library became part of his life. Every evening, after his work was done and the colony lights dimmed, he found himself drawn back to the place where silence held secrets and a voice kept him company. The more time he spent inside, the more the library no longer felt like a ruin. It felt alive, as though it had been waiting only for him. Elora greeted him each time with the same calm voice, but slowly, he noticed her tone changing. At first, it was formal and cautious, like a guardian speaking to a guest. But now, there was warmth, even small notes of humor. Sometimes, she teased him gently when he mispronounced alien words she taught him. Sometimes, she asked him about small details of his day, what he ate, what he saw, what made him laugh. One evening, as Liam struggled to read glowing symbols on a memory crystal, he sighed and rubbed his forehead. "These words twist around. It's like they're dancing to confuse me." Elora chuckled softly. "They are not dancing. Your eyes are not trained yet. But your effort is amusing." Liam smiled at the sound. "You're enjoying this, aren't you?" "Perhaps," she replied. "It has been long since I had reason to enjoy anything." Her answer stayed with him. In her voice, he could hear centuries of silence and solitude, and he wanted to break that loneliness. He leaned closer to the glowing shelf and whispered, Then I'll keep coming until you laugh every day. The lights brightened faintly, as if the library itself reacted to his words. As days turned into weeks, their bond deepened. Liam repaired old machines scattered in the corners, using simple tools from the colony. He cleared away vines, dust, and broken debris, determined to make the library shine again. In return, Elora guided him through hidden rooms, showing him shelves untouched for ages. Together, they brought light to forgotten halls. One night, after hours of cleaning, Liam sat on the stone steps, breathing hard. "I never thought I'd spend my evenings sweeping an alien library," he joked, brushing dust from his clothes. Elora's voice softened. "You bring life back to these walls. I did not realize how much I longed for footsteps here. For someone to share the silence with." Liam looked around. The glowing shelves, the faint hum in the air, the voice that filled the emptiness, together they made the place feel less like ruins and more like home. "I'm glad I came," he said simply. There was a pause, then Elora asked, "Why do you come back every day, Liam? You have a world outside. You have people. Why stay here with me?" The question surprised him. He thought for a while before answering. "Out there, I always felt like I didn't belong. People talk, laugh, and work together, but I feel like I'm just passing by. Here, with you, it's different. You listen. You teach me. You make me feel seen." For a moment, there was only silence. Then Elora's voice, gentle and almost tender, whispered, "And you make me feel alive." Liam's heart skipped. He did not know how to respond. He had never thought of her as just a voice. She was presence, knowledge, warmth, someone real, even if bound to the library. From then on, their conversations grew more personal. Liam told her about his childhood, about how he used to stare at the stars and dream of adventures. Elora told him about her people's traditions, the songs they sang to their young, the festivals that lit their cities. She even shared memories of her own life before she became a guardian, how she once walked under two suns, how she tasted sweet fruits that no longer existed. The bond between them was no longer just curiosity. It was comfort, trust, and something deeper neither of them named. But as they grew closer, Liam noticed strange things. The library's systems reacted strongly to him now. Doors opened without commands, lights glowed brighter when he entered, and some crystals displayed visions even before he touched them. Elora admitted she had never seen such responses before. "Perhaps you and this place are linked," she suggested one evening. "Perhaps humanity carries something my people could never understand." Liam thought about her words. Humanity was often seen by other species as weak, fragile, short-lived. Yet here, in this place of alien knowledge, he was the one who awakened it. It made him wonder if humans carried strength others had not yet seen. As he prepared to leave that night, Liam stood at the doorway and looked back. The library glowed warmly behind him, and Elora's voice followed him to the threshold. "Liam," she said softly, "thank you for giving me more than silence." He smiled, his heart warm. "And thank you for giving me more than loneliness." With those words, he stepped into the night, knowing that each day ahead would pull them closer, bound not by stone or shelves, but by something stronger, a quiet bond forming between a human and an alien soul. The forgotten library had become a second home for Liam. Every evening he came with a lantern, a small bag of food, and endless curiosity. Elora was no longer just a voice in the air, she had become his closest companion. Together they shared knowledge, laughter, and dreams. The once dark halls now glowed warmly whenever he entered, as if the walls themselves welcomed him. But outside, change was stirring. Word of the hidden library had begun to spread quietly through the colony. At first, only a few settlers noticed Liam's long absences and the dirt on his clothes. Whispers followed him, questions about where he went every night. Eventually, a small group of scavengers from beyond the colony heard rumors of an ancient ruin filled with glowing treasures. For them, treasures meant profit, and profit meant power. One afternoon, Liam overheard two traders speaking near the supply station. "They say there's an old alien vault out there," one whispered. "Full of crystals. Worth more than a year's pay," the other replied. "Scavengers are already on their way." Liam's chest tightened. He knew instantly what they were speaking about. The library? That evening he rushed to the forgotten building, his steps quicker than ever. As soon as he entered, the lights glowed brightly, and Elara's voice greeted him with calm warmth. "Liam. You seem troubled." He dropped his bag and said breathlessly, "Elara, we have a problem. People know. Scavengers are coming. They'll take everything, they'll destroy this place." For a long moment, she said nothing. When she finally spoke, her voice carried quiet fear. "If they enter, they will strip the shelves. They will shatter the memory crystals. And her tone faltered. I may not survive." Liam clenched his fists. "Then we have to stop them." Elara hesitated. "Liam, you are human. You are fragile compared to others. I do not want you harmed for my sake." But Liam's eyes burned with determination. "I can't just stand by. You matter to me, Elara. More than this whole colony even knows. I won't let them take you." The silence that followed was deep, but the lights around him pulsed faintly, as if the library itself responded to his resolve. In the following days, Liam prepared. He studied the old machines hidden in the library's corners. Many were broken, but with Elara's guidance, he managed to restore some of them. Ancient security systems still hummed beneath the stone. Pressure plates, hidden doors, even defensive fields. With his human hands and her ancient knowledge, they began to turn the forgotten place into a fortress. One night, as Liam repaired a broken control panel, Elara spoke softly. "You risk much, Liam. Why do you do this for me?" He paused, wiping sweat from his brow. "Because I can't imagine losing you. You're not just a voice in an old building. You're my friend. More than that. You make me feel like I belong somewhere." For a moment, her voice carried something almost like wonder. "In all my centuries, no one has spoken to me this way." Liam smiled faintly. "Then it's about time someone did." The night before the scavengers arrived, Liam stood at the library's entrance, staring at the stars. His heart was heavy with both fear and courage. He knew the danger ahead, but he also knew he would face it. Elara's voice broke the silence. "Liam," she said gently, "if tomorrow you find yourself in danger, promise me you will run." He shook his head firmly. "No, I won't run. Not when you've waited so long for someone to stand by you." The next day, just as the sun dipped behind the hills, shadows moved near the forgotten building. A group of scavengers, tall and rough, crept closer. Their eyes gleamed with greed as they whispered about glowing shelves and easy riches. From inside, Liam watched them through a crack in the wall. His heart raced, but his grip was steady. Elara's voice guided him through the hidden controls. "Now," she whispered, "activate the floor plates." With a pull of a lever, the ground before the entrance shifted. The scavengers stumbled as stone panels dropped, revealing deep pits. Startled shouts echoed as two of them scrambled back. But they were not finished. They drew strange tools, glowing with sharp energy. They will not stop easily, Elora warned. I know, Liam answered, his voice steady. But neither will I. The first clash between greed and courage had begun. Inside the forgotten library, a human stood ready not for treasure, not for glory, but for the bond he had found with the voice that gave him hope. And in that moment, Liam was no longer just a wanderer of ruins. He was a defender, standing between the world and the one thing he could not bear to lose. The scavengers did not retreat. Though some stumbled at the hidden traps, their greed only grew sharper. They regrouped, circling the library like wolves around prey. Liam stood at the entrance, his hands trembling slightly, but his eyes steady. He had prepared for this moment with Elora, yet the danger felt heavier now that it was real. Inside the library, Elora's voice guided him with calm strength. They will try again. They will not leave without what they seek. You must be careful, Liam. I'm ready, he replied, though his heart pounded fast. I won't let them take you. The scavengers advanced again, their leader shouting in a harsh alien tongue. Two of them carried cutting tools, glowing with heat, while another raised a scanner that pulsed against the library's walls. They were searching for a weak point. Left side, Elora warned. There is an old entrance there. Quickly. Liam ran through the shadows of the shelves, reaching the hidden passage just as the scavengers tried to force it open. With a pull of a lever, the wall slid shut and locked tight. Sparks flew as they tried to cut through, but the alien stone held firm. Breathing hard, Liam whispered, that will slow them, but not stop them. Then we must use the systems deeper inside, Elora said. Follow my voice. She guided him through narrow corridors filled with humming wires and glowing panels. Liam's fingers moved over strange symbols, but with her patient instructions, he managed to reactivate more of the old defenses. Panels lit up, floors shifted, and sudden walls rose where none had stood before. The scavengers cursed outside, their heavy steps echoing as they struggled to find a way in. But Liam was no longer only defending walls, he was fighting for someone who mattered. Hours passed in tension. Each time the scavengers forced their way forward, Liam and Elora countered. Sometimes with traps, sometimes with clever tricks. He even used simple human tools, ropes, nails, and scraps of metal to turn the ruins into clever barriers. At one point, a scavenger broke through and entered the main hall. Liam stood frozen, hiding behind a shelf as the intruder's heavy boots echoed. The alien reached out for a glowing crystal, eyes greedy with light. Now, Liam, Elora whispered. Liam pulled a cord he had set earlier. A shelf toppled, crashing to the floor. Dust exploded in the air, and the startled scavenger stumbled backward into a hidden plate that released a burst of blinding light. Shouting, the intruder dropped his tool and ran out. Liam exhaled shakily, his hands dirty, his clothes torn. That was close. You did well, Elora said warmly. Your quick mind is sharper than their weapons. Her words gave him strength. For the first time, he felt proud not only of his courage but of his cleverness. He was proving that humans, though seen as fragile, could stand strong when it mattered most. By dawn, the scavengers retreated for the night, though Liam knew they would return. Exhausted, he sank onto the cold steps. His body ached, but his spirit remained unbroken. You should rest, Elora said softly. I can't, he replied. If I sleep, they might come back. I need to stay awake. Her voice carried quiet concern. Liam, your life is short compared to mine. You must not burn it all in one moment. Please, rest for a while. I will keep watch. He smiled faintly. You sound like you care. For a moment, silence lingered. Then, gently, she answered, I do. Those two words filled Liam with warmth. He closed his eyes for a moment, not in full sleep, but in trust. The library hummed softly around him, almost like a lullaby. When he opened his eyes again, the sun was higher, its rays sneaking through cracks in the old stone. The scavengers had not returned yet. Liam stood, stretching, and looked at the glowing shelves. We did it, Elora, he said with quiet pride. We protected this place. For now, she replied. But they will return with more. You must be prepared. Liam nodded firmly. Then I'll be ready. I don't care how many times they come. I'll protect you, no matter what. The lights in the library glowed warmly, brighter than ever before. Her voice carried a softness that touched his heart. You fight not for treasure, not for glory, but for me. No one has ever done that before. Liam's voice grew steady. That's because you're worth more than all the treasures in the galaxy. The silence that followed was not empty, it was full. Full of meaning, of emotions unspoken, of a bond that had grown strong in the face of danger. And in that bond, Liam found his resolve. He was just one human, but he was enough. Enough to stand, enough to fight, enough to show the universe that humanity could guard not only with strength but with heart. The days after the battle with the scavengers were tense. Liam spent each morning checking the library's defenses, repairing broken panels, and scanning for any signs of intrusion. Elora guided him patiently, her voice calm but filled with subtle urgency. Though the immediate threat had passed, Liam knew it was only a matter of time before others discovered the library. One afternoon, a small group of officials from the colony arrived at the outskirts. They were curious, formal, and cautious. Word of the hidden ruins had reached them through whispers and rumors. They claimed they intended only to study the library, to catalog its knowledge, and to preserve it. But Liam could feel the danger in their intentions. Preserving knowledge often meant taking it apart, dismantling the halls, and removing the guardian within. He watched from a hidden corridor as the officials approached the building, their equipment in hand. Elora's voice trembled, quiet but serious. They wish to claim what is mine, she said. If they succeed, I will be bound, my freedom gone. They will study me as an object, not a being. Liam's chest tightened. He knew the choice before him was heavier than any battle against scavengers. These were humans like him, people who could not be stopped by clever traps or old mechanisms. We have to protect you, he said firmly. No matter what it takes. Elora hesitated. But you are human. If you oppose them, you may be punished. You may lose everything you hold dear. I would rather lose everything than let them take you, Liam answered, his voice steady. You've waited centuries for someone to care for you. I'm not letting you face that alone. The officials reached the library entrance and called out, announcing their intentions. Liam stepped forward, his heart pounding, but his voice clear. This library is not for taking. It belongs here. Its guardian Elora is not an object to study. She is alive, and she has the right to exist freely. One of the officials stepped closer, frowning. We mean no harm. We only wish to record the knowledge. The archives belong to history. I know what you mean, Liam said, but your history will destroy her. You cannot see the value of what is living. Elara's voice joined him, calm but filled with authority. I am not a tool for your research. I have existed for centuries to protect knowledge, yes, but I also have a life of my own. If you take me, you erase who I am. The officials exchanged glances. They were not used to reasoning with a being like Elara. Many had studied alien intelligence as records, not as companions. Liam stepped closer to her essence, standing tall, human but determined. I choose her, he said simply. And I will not let anyone bind her. Not now, not ever. Silence filled the air. The library seemed to hum with tension, as though the stones themselves waited for the outcome. Elara's voice softened. Your choice is brave. I have seen many come and go. Few care for what is beyond their own gain. You are different, Liam. You see me, not just my knowledge. The officials hesitated, unsure how to respond. Liam knew the words alone would not protect her forever, but for now, they had delayed their claim. He looked at the shelves, glowing faintly, and whispered, We'll find a way. You won't be taken. I promise. Elara's lights brightened slightly, a gentle warmth filling the hall. Your promise is more than I ever expected. I will trust you. Liam felt a deep surge of courage. He was only human, fragile in the eyes of many, yet here he stood unwavering. He realized that strength was not only in power, but in the willingness to defend what mattered most. Humans had often been underestimated, seen as short-lived and weak. But today, he understood that humanity could protect, could choose selflessly, and could fight for life that was not their own. Together, Liam and Elara prepared for what was next. They reinforced hidden passages, repaired ancient mechanisms, and created signals to warn of approaching danger. Yet in his heart, Liam knew the greater challenge was not the physical protection, it was the choice itself, the courage to stand for what was right against those who might not understand. As night fell, he stood at the center of the library, surrounded by glowing shelves and humming panels. Elara's voice floated beside him. Liam, you chose me, she said softly. Not for glory, not for reward, but because you care. That is, something I did not think humans could do. He smiled faintly, his hand brushing the edge of a glowing crystal. Maybe humans are not as weak as everyone says. We care. And we fight for what matters. For the first time, the library felt like more than a place of old knowledge. It was a sanctuary, a home, and a bond that could not be broken even by those who came with power in their hands. And in that quiet moment, Liam understood that some choices defined more than life, they defined the heart. The morning air was crisp, and the colony's light stretched across the hills. Liam stood at the library's entrance, looking at the glowing shelves behind him. For centuries, the library had been a place of silence, of knowledge hidden and forgotten. Now, it had become more than that. It had been a home, a sanctuary, and the place where Liam and Elara had forged a bond that neither time nor danger could break. Elara's voice echoed softly through the halls. Liam, the library will always be here, but I cannot remain bound to these walls any longer. I want to see the stars beyond these stones, to exist in the world outside, as I once did. Liam stepped closer, his heart beating fast. Then we'll do it. We'll find a way for you to leave this place safely. You shouldn't have to stay trapped. Together, they worked through the old memory crystals and ancient machinery. Elora explained how she could transfer her essence into a portable memory core, a device that could carry her presence without being tied to the building. Liam listened carefully, following her instructions, and used the tools he had gathered to help guide the delicate process. As the device hummed and lights danced across the walls, Elora's voice softened, almost shyly. "I have waited centuries for someone to care enough to help me. I never thought it would be a human." Liam smiled. "And I never thought I would meet someone like you. Someone who makes a forgotten library feel like the most alive place in the universe." The final steps were delicate. Liam adjusted the panels and circuits, following Elora's guidance. When the memory core finally activated, a warm glow filled the room. Elora's essence began to flow into it, and the library responded as though recognizing that its guardian was leaving for the first time in centuries. "You're free now," Liam whispered, awe in his voice. "I am," she replied, her tone full of wonder and gratitude. "And it is because of you." For a moment, they stood in silence, looking at each other. Though Elora had always existed as a voice and presence in the library, now she had a form that could accompany him anywhere. The bond they had formed over weeks of shared knowledge, laughter, and courage had grown into something deeper, a quiet, unspoken understanding that neither would ever forget. "Where will we go?" Liam asked. "The colony, the stars, somewhere new." Elora's lights shimmered gently. "Everywhere. I want to see the universe through your eyes, Liam. I want to learn about your world, just as you have learned about mine." Liam nodded, feeling a mixture of excitement and awe. "Then let's go together. We'll explore, protect, and discover. Just you and me." They stepped out of the library into the morning light. The building remained behind them, glowing faintly, a silent witness to centuries of solitude and the bond that had awakened within its walls. For a moment, Liam looked back, feeling respect and gratitude for the place that had brought them together. As they moved toward the settlement, Liam carried the memory core carefully. Elora's essence hovered gently within it, her voice calm and curious. "The world feels different," she said. "Everything is alive, moving, and full of possibilities." "You'll see more than just the colony," Liam said, his eyes shining. "There are stars we haven't reached, lands we haven't seen, and people who will wonder at the stories we bring. And we'll face them together." Elora's presence shimmered brighter, a warm glow of joy. "I never thought freedom could feel like this. And I never thought companionship could be so powerful. Thank you, Liam." Liam smiled, feeling a happiness he had never known before. "You don't need to thank me. We saved each other in the end. You gave me purpose, Elora. You gave me courage. And now, we can face everything together." As they walked side by side, the hills stretched before them, the sky filled with countless stars. Every step was filled with promise, every breath with the knowledge that their bond had survived danger, fear, and centuries of silence. The human and the alien archivist moved forward, carrying a friendship, trust, and quiet desire that only grew stronger with every moment. The library faded behind them, but the story it held, their story, was just beginning. For Liam and Elora, the universe was no longer a distant dream. It was alive, full of possibilities, and theirs to explore together. And as they stepped into the unknown, hand in hand, both knew that some bonds, once forged, could never be broken. They were no longer just a human and a voice in a forgotten library. They were companions, adventurers, and witnesses to the beauty of life across worlds. The stars above seemed to shine brighter that night, as if welcoming the beginning of a new chapter, one written by courage, trust, and the quiet strength of humanity.